Cool. Well, first of all, congratulations. I thought this film was fantastic. The first thing I thought of too was I was trying to place it in a category, and what would you say best describes Prince Avalanche? Would it be like comedy, drama, surreal? All of the above?
That's a trick question because the idea with a movie like this is to be as much as you can be and not really categorize ourselves. Like I think there's a lot of really funny stuff in it, but I don't really look at it as a comedy. I think there's a lot of emotional qualities in a story of relationships that actually has gravity and depth, but I don't necessarily feel it as a heavy-handed drama in the dramatic sense. So it's really just kind of a portrait of these two guys and their strange odd couple dynamic and their relationship. And I think the beauty of something like this is it's not a big high concept Hollywood movie. It's really an independent flavor that takes a lot of chances, has a few ambiguities, and doesn't spill everything out. And for me, as an audience member, that's what I'm hungry for. So I kind of dug into that as a filmmaker and tried to make something that reflected that.
Yeah, a lot of times as an actor at a scene, if you know like what your genre is when you're acting in it, you strangely feel limited in the scene because you're like, oh well, this is this genre, so this scene should go like this. And we never really felt any kind of specific like rule book while we were making it. So there's a lot of scenes where if we felt like the scene needed to go in a certain direction, whatever it was okay. So often these days these genres are so spelled out. These people are just limiting themselves.
But this is an interesting opportunity too to really just follow honesty. I think some of the funniest points in the movie aren't necessarily jokes. In some ways the funniest parts of the movie are the dramatic conversations that these guys have, and the honesty and the sincerity of which they're projecting these conversations. For an audience, from somebody on the outside looking into what they're actually discussing, becomes really funny. And I think that challenges the audience in a way that I think is really cool. It's watching these characters react, and your response isn't something that you would necessarily predict.
Right. Well, Emil, I have to ask, so when you read the synopsis for the script, and it was, I think, literally two men painting traffic lines on a desolate highway, was it something you totally jumped at?
I mean, absolutely. Well, it was a really great role for me to play because I felt like Lance has a perspective on nature that is, I think, really refreshing. There's so many movies where, even that I did it. Into the Wild, the character, he's so industrious and he's so good at taking care of himself. It was refreshing for me to play Lance, who just wants to go back to the city and have a beer and hates being alone. So it was a nice kind of counterpoint to things and perspectives that I'd really embraced and performed in the past.
And what was one of the first scenes that you shot? Can you remember?
We shot a lot of it in order. I mean, it was a luxury in that way that we could really start at the early phases of these characters and take the journey with them, which opened us up to the organic possibilities of the production. There's a lot of improvisation and things that came across during the production period that were unexpected.
Right, and it was over 16 days?
16 days, yeah.
Okay, and where was it shot?
In Bastrop, Texas.
I can't believe it was shot in 16 days.
I know, it came in under schedule. It was going to be 18, and then these guys rocked it out real quick.
I can't
so
believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, had a little elbow room.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Did you vacation after?
We just partied,
Texas?
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool rap party.
Yeah.
You got Poison Ivy, but other than that, it was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, how is the catering in Texas? Is it any different than LA?
Yeah, we got, there's a lot of good food down there. So, every now and then we treat the crew to a little barbecue, and otherwise, yeah, skunk and some
turtle,
roadkill.
Doves.
Yeah.
Nice. It's protein.
Exactly.
But when you were casting Alvin and Lance, did you know exactly what you were looking for, or did these actors surprise you?
I rarely know exactly what I'm looking for. I kind of stumble into what I often find are my greatest successes. So it's you kind of have a broad stroke concept of something you want to approach, or I have a blueprint idea, and then it's in many ways taking the greatest risks, not casting the obvious people, not making the obvious choices, but things that surprise me that I think the audience is going to be happy to be surprised by.
Cool. And I guess last question, was there anything in the film that didn't make it to the actual film, like any scenes that were cut or any funny moments or anything that you want to kind of...
There was a long dancing sequence with Emil that was incredibly well choreographed and performed, but I think took a moment to really process exactly how to deal with some of his moves. Like it was a little overwhelming to see his gracefulness, and I didn't want to intimidate Paul too much by actually having this.
I think it was like with a broom too.
The top hat came. It was like a cabaret routine. It was
Yeah.
incredible. It was a little river dance.
It was very
in there.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Song and dance, it could be like a musical.
He's gonna be the
So,
star of the new Step Up movie, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.